seen like basic stuffs in Python, like how to, like in the previous class we have seen like how to create a functions and how to create a class and how to create an object from the class and how to use that class effectively and use everything like what is a class and as well as like what are the functions, what are the different type of functions, like what are things which are available in the function and what are the things we can do with these functions. So like so far any doubts with what we have seen like till function and classes, maybe from the past three classes, do you have any doubts? Can ask now. If there is no doubts, we can start with today's session. So far in functions or class, do you have any doubts till now? Can I take it as no, and can I assume that there are no doubts? Like till class, you were clear and you were clear with all the concepts.
Yes, no doubts.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So far, what we have seen is we have wrote some kind of a program, a kind of standalone code. What we have done is we run the code using the console. It will run in our local, and it will interact with like this console only. So you will get some values, and you will print some values in the console. Like we have done only like a standalone files, which you can interact only with the console so far. Like these kinds of files are like you it is these are good to learn, like you can learn all the concept with these kind of activities, but eventually when you are going with a higher application, right, you need to write like a code wherein you need to create like a front end as well as your back end. So your front end is something is going to be your kind of a UI, where what you can do is you can write your HTML stuffs and other coloring and other stuffs, which will be going to be shown to the user, and there'll be something called a backend backend or server side. What this backend or server side is going to do is it is going to deal with all your complex mathematical operations and other stuffs, and then it is going to populate the data, and using this data the front end is going to render this data into the UI, and it is going to show to the user. So okay, so in the real world scenario, these kinds of files you cannot do with anything like that. So you need to go with a kind of approach where you can write a front end as well as you can write something called a backend. So this front end is going to render your details, which you calculate efficiently using your backend. Okay, so there is going to be two components, like something called the front end and the backend. Okay, so basically like in the prayer, like now we are doing something called APIs. So first we'll see what was there before some APIs has been came out. So if you see like some years back, like a 10 or 15 years back, there is no concept something called API, so it is not that much used. So what basically happens is, let me open my Paint. So is my screen is visible, and then I'm in Paint, right? So is that is visible for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you see, right, let's take a classic example of Facebook. Okay, so let's take this box. Here's your FB server. So what I can say is this is your um, I can say this is your FB. Okay, this is your Facebook server. My God, man. This is your FB server. Okay, let's say this is your FB server, which is going to spin up and going to do all your FB activities, like Facebook server. It is going to be your Facebook server. And let's take some clients. Okay, clients in the sense is like the end user who's going to use this FB. Okay, so the client, what they can use, you can use the FB from your laptop or a system. So let's say this is a system where you can use it in a big screen with a laptop or a kind of a system. So there were no mobiles in that era, and there are only laptops, and you are using FB using your laptop. Okay, what this system? So this is your system, and this one is called your client, and this one is called your server. Okay, this is your system, and this is called as client, and this is your server. So what your client basically do is, if you go and hit FB like facebook.com, what it will go and do is it will go and request something called give me a data of this fb.com, so give me the data of this facebook.com. It will go and hit to the server. What the server basically will do is it will go and fetch all the things which are respect to the fb activities. Let's say if you are directly going to the home page, what it will go and see is it will go and see where this home page code is residing into the server. And what it will do is it will render this home page. So what it will do is it will render this home page and it will get this as a HTML file. So what it will produce back is it will going to give you a HTML file. So what it will do is it will create a HTML file where you can have your something like a photo here and some activities, feedback is going on, and everything is happening. So it will give you like a HTML file back to the client, to your system. So what the system will going to do is it has HTML file, right? So you can render into your Chrome or any kind of explorers which you are using. Okay, you can use Edge or Internet Explorer. So because it is an HTML file, it can be supported. So this is how previously it was that before the API came in. So you have a client. Client is someone who is going to request some data from the server. Server is going to be sitting running all the time 24/7, and it is going to listen. If any client gives you any request, what it will do is it will take this request, and this is called as a request. Sorry, my handwriting is too bad. Okay, this is called as request. Or oh my god, just give me one, or let me write it down. So this is your request, and here you can have something called response. Okay, so you give a request to the server, and this response will give you back a response as an HTML file. Okay, let's say some after some days we have new technologies. So what we got is we got something called mobile phone. So mobile phone is having something similar to this. Okay, let's say this is your mobile phone. Okay, this is also one of your client. This is also one of your client. But if you see in system, you have something. Your web page is going to be different because you have a large screen, and system you can have a larger bandwidth of like a network. You can go with a higher download and upload speed in system. Or else in the case of mobile, when compared to system, it is little slower in the case of bandwidth, as well as in the case of your screen size and resolution. These are too small and it cannot handle much of data. But what it will do is it will go and again hit your FB server again. So it is going to hit your FB server again once you got the mobile device. This FB server is again going to give you back the same page, so same kind of a page like FB page back to you. So this is again HTML page, it will give you back. Okay, this is again the request and this is the response. Okay, so this mobile device has to show the respective data into it, and if you can see, like you have some kind of data which are visible in so something like you can have a chat like which is opened again in FB on top, but in a mobile device you have something, a separate tab over there you can have your chat. So if you see like the screens, like there are some changes in the screens, so this can be handled only using your CSS. So you can hide and you can unhide the data and you can format all the data using only because we are giving this HTML page back to the client. Okay, this is how the previous structure was like. Okay, any doubts in this kind of architecture, like how a client is going and you are like a kind of a page back to it. So any doubts in this like legacy approach? Um, so you are clear with this one, right? So any doubts? No doubts. So how this client is requesting and you are getting a replay like a back of a kind of HTML page back from the server back. Okay, and we'll move on. So this was your like it was there in the legacy, like it was there in the olden days, but this kind of approach we are mostly not using it. So we overcome this approach using something called a API. Okay, so the pain point with this approach is you can do all this kind of hiding your data, and you can do all these things only using this kind of like a CSS. but you cannot do much of activities, which we'll see like what is the advantage of going into the APIs once we told how we can do with the APIs. Okay, so I will read out the same thing again. Okay, or what I can do is just copy this thing. Okay, uh, the above one is my older one. Okay, the below one is my newer one. Okay, so here what we are going to do is here instead of this page which we are giving back, so we are not giving back the HTML page as it is. What we are going to give is we are going to give only the data. So now we are going to give only the data back to the client, not the original HTML page. Okay, so in the any case we are going to just give only the data. So what you give back is only data to it. So if some users or user clients like give you a request, what you will go and do is instead of giving back them the real HTML file, which is the rendered file, what you will give them back is only the data. So in this case, what the server like what the client system has to do is it has to take the data. So whatever the data you are getting from the server, so it will take the data and it will render the data. Using this data, it will render according to the format whichever it wants. So in a kind of system where you can show your chat as well as your feedback and everything feeds and everything at the same time, where in the case of mobile you cannot show everything at the same time because of the screen resolution and other stuffs. So what you can do is you can have something kind of tabs, and you can show one at a time. So since you are getting all the data, you can easily hide whatever the data, like you can easily what you can create is you can, let's say in future, let's say you got something a new kind of a screen which is a tablet. So tablet screen will something will be different. So let's say this is your tablet, so the screen resolutions and other things are different, so you can show some more details into it. So what if the Facebook things in mobile device, I can show it in a separate layout, where in the case of tablet I can show it into the separate layouts. So what it is going to do is it is going to again going to hit the same server, and since we are just getting back only the data now. So previously we are getting back the whole details, now we are getting only back the data. So the tablet device which is rendering the data can decide how it wants to render it. So basically it can say like this photo has to come here or photo has to come here, wherever it thinks it wants, it can do it. So this is where your UI code or your front end code is going to sit into your client side, and your back end code is going to sit into your server side. So the server which is giving accepting the request and giving back the data is called as an API server. So this request and response is going to happen through an API gateway, like a API endpoint. Okay. So any doubts on this one? So how this request is coming? So instead of HTML page, we are just sending back the data. So using the data, this like client side application which is going to run on the Chrome or some kind of web browser, which is going to consume the data and it is going to use the data. So we'll see with the examples how this data is coming and growing. So for now, any doubts on the theoretical way? Like any doubts in this theoretical way? Theoretically, like what is the difference between these two? Like your previous approach and how you are going with AP. So far, any doubts? Okay. Um, I hope so. There is no doubt so far. So the main difference between these two are, so here you gave a whole page as it is to the client, and the client is going to just render the data, render the HTML. Oh, rendering the sense means it is going to just show the HTML to the user. Okay, but in the case of this approach, it is going to render the whole HTML, like it is going to design the whole HTML, like it is going to render the whole HTML page using this data. So here it is going to just show it, but here it has to put the data into the respective places, and then it has to show it. Okay, so let's take something called let's take this. Okay, let's say this is your web page. Okay, this is your web page, and let's take you have some sections in your web page. So let's say this is session one, and let's say okay, this is okay, this is your session, and this is where your live feed will be going on in your FB, and you have a chat screen over here, and we have some chat screen which is going on here, which is this is your chat screen. And again, let's say this is something called what are the friend requests which is pending for you. Just for namesake I'm taking, okay, so these are not the correct format. So this is your live feed is happening, this is your chat, and this is your request, like what are the pending requests you have, which are your friend requests. Let's come to let's assume this is your FB page for now, okay. So in that case, if you go with this previous approach, where in the case of it will give you the whole web page. So let's say if some message came, so you have some messages happening here. So let's say if a new message came, what you need to do is you need to re-render, like you need to refresh the whole page. You need to refresh your feed, you need to refresh your chat, and then you need to refresh again your invites which have came to you. Okay. When in the case of your newer approach, since the data is coming, it is coming only kind of a data. So what we can do is we can separate the data. So only this feed, right? Only this feed which is coming for you live, you can have it as a separate API, like a separate request, and this messages you can have it as a separate request, and this request, right, friend request which is coming for you, you can have it as a separate request. So by this way, you don't want to refresh the whole page, so you don't want to refresh whole page again and again for small changes in that page. What you can do is you can efficiently refresh only a part of a page, and for this refresh you can hit that respective endpoint. So if you had in, let's say in FB you have an endpoint called messages, or let's say you have some endpoints called chat. So all your chat details which is coming from this chat API, so you can get it from the chat API, you can get it as a messages as a data. So like let's say from this message came at this time, this message came at this time, this is the data which you are going to get, and this UA is going to render this data into a correct proper format for that particular screen. So by going with this newer approach, you don't want to refresh the whole page, where in the case you can just refresh the page which you want to reflect. Okay, let's say if something happened only at this chat, you can just refresh this chat page. Let's say you have a new feed, you have something newly someone has shared you something, you can get it in the new feed, whereas in that case you don't want to refresh your chat and your friend request page. So this is how you can this is one of the main advantage from going into the older approach into kind of a API thing. So far, any doubts? Like how this advantage, like this is like some, like it is one of the advantages, not like only advantage. Any doubts on this one? Okay. Um, I hope there is no doubt. Like if someone has any doubt, they can ask, or else to next advantages. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is scalability. So scalability is something like what we can say. Most of you, I think most of you has came across this Anna University. So maybe you have seen, like you may heard of this Anna University. So on the date of result, you can see, like you can tell the people still telling like, oh, the server is down, server is down. We cannot see the results on the date of this result is coming. Simply because like huge number of requests are coming to the same server. Okay, like on a particular day, you are getting millions and millions of data, like millions and millions of requests. Like we'll go log in and we'll see how much mark we got, how much mark we got. So what is happening is the server which we are running here is not able to capable, like it is not capable to take all the requests and to run those requests and give them back the response. Okay, so it has some limitations, like it has some limitations, like a kind of machine which you are running. So the server is not able to handle all these requests, so the server is going down. So which means the server is kind of a machine, you can think of it as like a computer, it is running in somewhere in cloud. Okay, so you are accessing it directly. So the server is not able to handle the server machine, which in the sense the server computer is not able to handle all the requests which is coming up on that particular day. So what is happening is the server is going out ultimately on that day alone. So like let's say we think of okay the so we are going to improve the anonymity kind of website. So what we can think is okay, my server is not able to do on that particular day. So what I can think is okay, we have a 4 GB machine, 4 GB RAM machine. Okay, we'll upgrade to 16 GB RAM machine so that it can able to handle a number of requests. Like we are doing some calculations and we are finding out okay, if you do a big machine it can handle all the requests. So like instead of going with a small machine, let's say we went into a huge machine, which in the sense higher configuration system on your server. Okay, if you go it into this way, so what is happening is you are ultimately paying a large amount of cost because you are going to run a huge machine on your cloud. Okay, so let's think like a small machine is going to cost you less amount of money, whereas a big machine is going to cost you a higher amount of money. Okay, so this big machine is going to cost you a higher amount of money. So, but what you want is you want that big machine is going like you want that big machine on that particular day of result only. So let's say this result is came again for 6 months, no one is going to touch that result page, right? So no one is going to go and check whether my result is coming or not on each and every day. So you need on that particular day alone, you need heavy machines on that particular day alone. Okay, let's say let's took another example of Amazon. Okay, so you have something called Amazon. What you can effectively see over there is on there are some offers days like big billion days and big million days, or on the day if you see the offer pay like on that offer days you can see large number of traffic. It's in the sense large number of users will go and see Amazon to see what are the offers I have, so what I can buy. Okay, so on the day what you can say is you can get a and lots of requests, so they need to scale up the machine, which in the sense they need to upgrade the machine to a higher configuration. Okay, so if you go with this monolithic approach, right, if you go with this monolithic approach, in the both the examples, you just in the first example you just want to scale up only your result page, only your result section. You don't want to do any sign up, or you don't want to give any about page and all. You don't want to scale up, like no one is going to see your announced about page and what are the colleges you have, no one is going to see. And in the case of your second example of Amazon, on that sales day, everyone will go and see only the what are the sales things, like what are the offers are happening. So there will be a huge lot of traffic only on the offers page. No one will go and see some RD or Mercedes car on that, or some kind of stuffs over there in Amazon. So you can see only a part of your let's say your part of your applications needs to be scale up, whereas your other part doesn't needs to be scale up because there is no traffic to it. Okay, this can be easily achievable going by going through this API approach, where it cannot be done using your monolithic approach, because the whole code base is going to sit into a single project, like a single server. Where in the case of this API, what you can do is you can again break down this is like you can again break down this into small pieces. Let's say this is the server which is going to handle all my live feeds, and this is the server which is going to happen, which is going to go efficiently do my messaging system, and this is your server which is going to handle my friend request. So what are the friend requests I got? So what you can do is you can put everything into a main think main box. Let's say let's have it as a box, but it is an API gateway. For now have it as a box. This box can give us an FB. Okay, so let's take another example. This is your Amazon. Okay, so you can do what you can do is you can have something called offers page. Okay, I cannot draw inside this now. Okay, so this is your offers page, and what you can do is you can have something called something which you are not showing for all the days. You can have it as a separate instance. Okay, so this is your offers, and this is something which you are not frequently using, which all comes under your Amazon server. So what you can do is on the sale day, or in the kind of in the case of offer day, what you can do is you can run a similar server of this size. Like you are just running a duplicate server of this one. So have server one, server two, which is going to serve your offer page. Let's say you are on particular day there are more like large peoples of using FB. Let's say on Saturday Sunday most people will be using FB, so there will be a large traffic on your server, like a live feed. So on the day alone, what FB can do is this is your this is your server 1, and this is your server 2, and this is your server 3. Let's say this all or each and every servers is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. So one is for your live feed, two is for your chats, and three is for your some kind of friend request. So what they can do is they can duplicate the server one and they can run it. So if on Saturday Sunday if huge people are coming and just seeing scrolling through the live feeds, just because you just duplicate the server one and have something a duplicate of server two, these two servers can communicate with each other. They can handle the whole traffic and they can do this whole thing without making the server to go down. But in the case of monolithic, you cannot do this. You just need to again have a duplicate server which has everything, which has your live feed, chat, as well as your friend request kind of things. You can have it as a same box. Like it, you cannot subdivide this box. Where in the case of your API, you can subdivide your whole API into kind of a smaller and smaller APIs, which we will call it as microservices, and whichever service you want. Let's say you want to just scale up the messages on the particular day, you can do it so easily. So in the case of API kind of thing. So in this case, the cost is like cost of running your whole API and everything is too less when comparing to your older approach of monolithic. Also, you can easily scale up and scale down easily back again. Okay, so this is one of the major advantage of going into APIs and into the microservices. So far, any doubts? Uh, and are you just having like listening this for this first time? But are you guys are already know about what is an API, what is a microservices, what is a server, what is like a front end code, client, and everything? Or this is your first time which you are going through everything? Like this is your first time, or did you know everything prior to this one? Like, do you have any prior knowledge on this kind of concepts? Can someone confirm me that you are clear with this one? And if you are not clear, I will go through it again and again into a somewhat in a deep way. Or if something concept you are not clear, I'll go and teach it again. Like I will go and explain it again. If you are clear, I can go into next things.
Yes, it's clear.
So apart from you, anyone have any doubts?
No.
So you are clear with whatever I said. What is a server? You know something basic concepts and everything right now. So everyone is clear. Okay, if you guys are clear, I'm fine with that. So this is why we go into a API kind of stuff. So this is why we went into a API architecture instead of going into a monolithic, just sending back the HTML itself. Now we are just sending back only the data. Okay. Okay. So now, what are the like in APIs? You can have two types. There is something called SOAP and there is something called REST. So SOAP is like a little complicated way, and most of them are not using SOAP right now. So SOAP is like you can say like a kind of a old technology in this API. But now even now there are few applications are using your SOAP, but no like none of the new projects are using the SOAP. So you don't want to just you can just Google what is a SOAP and you can get a little idea about that. So you don't need to know SOAP in detail. Okay, most of the people are using something called REST. Okay, so this is REST is the main kind of a API which we are using and which you are going to see in the session also. Okay, so you guys already know about HTTP, right? HTTP protocol, like all the Google search and all the internet search which you are going to do with only with the HTTP protocol. Okay, so what this REST is going to do is it is going to sit on the top of this HTTP protocol, and it is going to be act like your HTTP. So in the case of HTTP, I'll take this. Is my screen is visible to you? this Chrome is coming, right? So this is your HTTP protocol. So in on the top of this HTTP protocol, this REST APIs are going to sit and going to serve to us. Okay. So this HTTP is going to act same like an API. Okay. This I can say this API REST is going to act like same like a HTTP. Okay. So in REST APIs, there are like majorly four kind of methods are there available in your REST APIs. So your first one is get, and the second one is post, and I'll write it down here. This is so far what you have seen yesterday. So the first one is get, and the second one is called post method, and and the third one is called put. Okay, and there is one more thing called. These are the major four methods which are needed, like which are available in the REST APIs. Okay, there are even more something like headers, and there are lots and lots. Okay, but I think seven are there. I'm not sure with the count, but this four are the main things which you need to develop a kind of a server-side application, where you can run your API and you can run like you can serve to your client. Okay, these four methods get, post, put, and delete are the four majorly used method. Okay, in the kind of a REST APIs, and it comes under APIs. Okay, so the get API. So get method is what in the name itself you can find, right? Get is going to get some data from the server. So let's say you want to get some data from the server. What you can do is you get me this image, or get me this file, or I want to download this file. These all are things like you are asking the server to give some data from the server. So this all comes under your get. Okay, post is something similar to your save. Okay, let's say you want to save something into a server, so you are registering yourself into a particular website, where in the case you are saving your data. And let's say you are changing your username to something, like not changing, let's say you are updating something into your website. Let's say you are updating your ID card or Aadhaar card, or kind of some other cards, or some kind of images or stuff into your website, where in the case what you are now doing is you are uploading something from your local to your server. This all comes under your post. This all comes under your post method. Okay, so everything which you want to send from the client to the server, which all comes under the post. And the third method is called put. Put is basically to update something which is already available into your database. So let's say you already log in, you registered, and you logged in into into some kind of website, and you want to change your username again, or you want to change your date of birth again. This all comes under your update action, because you already has your username and date of birth. Now what you are going to do is you are going to just update your date of birth. So this all comes under your put, which is your update method. Okay, and the last and the final one is delete. In the name itself, you can easily find understood that this delete method is going to delete something from your server. Let's say you want to delete your account, or you want to delete some images which you upload into your server, or what else we can say. We can you want to delete some post which you have posted in your Facebook, which all comes under your delete. Okay, so let's go with an FB example again. So I thought FB will be like most of the people's like I hope they know FB at least a little. So this get will be using to get your live feed. Okay, so this get method you can get your live feed for using this get method, and this post method is useful if you post some kind of post into your FB page. This is going to happen through this post method, and this put is going to happen when you are updating some date of birth, and you are updating some kind of your personal information, like something is already there into your account, you are updating it. So in that case you will go with this put method. You need to use your put method, and this delete is going to happen. Let's say I want to delete my post which I posted yesterday. I want to delete some other stuff into my account. At that case I'm going to use this delete method. Okay, so like I have given what are these four methods are used to, what we can use for these four methods. Any doubts till now? Any doubts on this type of methods, four type of methods?
No.
Okay, so no doubts. Okay, so and there is one more thing, like you can use like something different also in the delete method. You can save some data. So when you are writing some code, what you can do is you can expose like a delete method, but inside that you can save a data. That is also possible. Like you cannot say this delete method is going to delete only the data from your like from your server. It can also use to save the data, but it is not recommended to do so, because later on if you go and read the code again, so by the name itself you can get to know, okay, this is a delete method, it is going to delete something. But in the case if you do some fun activities and if you wrote a code which is to save a data into your server, so in the case of maintenance and debugging and fixing issues with your code, it will be like it will be little difficult if you reuse those methods. So for getting activities you can use get, posting, post, and if you want to update something you can use put, and if you want to delete something from your server you can use delete. But you can use like vice versa, or you can use wherever whatever you want at the place, but it is not highly recommended to do so. Okay, so this is how we can see. And and now what we can see is we can see example of a get method. Okay, so first, like I'm going to this Google search page. Okay, and I'm opening my dev tools, and I went to this network tab. Okay, I'm going to this XMR. Okay, this is where I'm going to now be in all. Let it be in all. Okay, I'm going to search something in this Google. Okay, I'm just searching called cars. Okay, I'm just searching cars. So if you see here, you can see something in XMR. I can see. I think so. You can see something here called cars. Okay, you can see something here in the page of XMR. If you come to a debugger console, in the place of network, in the place of XMR, you can see something called search. Okay, so this is your search API which is Google is using to search. Okay, so whatever you type, I just now typed car, right? You can see in header sessions, where is that? You scroll down, I think you can see a car here in the name of Q. Okay, let's search some other theme. Okay, I'm going to search ice cream here now. Okay, so if you see here now, my search, if you see if you go again back to the Q variable, you can see ice cream over here. So whatever I'm searching which is coming and sitting over here. Okay, this search is a API endpoint, which is like a API. What this API is going to do is it is going to do your search operation. Okay, so in this request method you can see something called get. Okay, so you are going to get the data from the server. Now what are the data you are seeing here basically is going to get from the server. So this whole thing is going to hit a API which is hosted by Google, and it is giving this return back a response. So it is a response. So if you see the response, it is like a data. You cannot see any kind of HTML page over here, right? It is just a data of saying that these are the ice creams, and you are getting something ice cream cake. So I hope so. You can see something word here called ice cream cake in this page. So only using this data, what this Chrome Google page is doing is it is going to render your thing, whole your application only using this data. So this is how a typical API will look like. So you can see here we are giving a get method, and in the response what we are getting is this is a response and this is a preview. So the difference between response and the preview is response you cannot at all read it. It will be in a single line. Where in the case of preview, it will be somewhat in a little readable format. Okay. So it will be little, at least you can read what is here. Okay. You can see vanilla ice cream. So it will be over there in the somewhere in this web page. You can see something called vanilla ice cream. Okay. It will be over there. So this is the data which you are getting back from your API, and using this data, the client side is rendering this whole web page for you. So this is why the all Google search pages will look similar. Okay, if I search again the car, you can see something similar, right? You can see something similar. Map is coming. You can see something similar. This is your template. You can see this is your template. You are getting the web like a page name, and you are getting the header, and then you are getting some description again, and then you are giving like a highlighted words, keywords in this. Again, if you see here, this is your web page, and this is your heading, and this is your again a description. Again, you are getting some highlighted words. So this is going to be common for each and every site. So this is your whole template. So you wrote a code only for this template, and what you are eventually going to do is you have the search API. So the search API is going to give you a list of values for you. Okay, the list of values is going to get back for you. So I think you may have already done some examples with your JavaScript classes, where you can do is you can like you can do a for loop and you can render again and again kind of a table. It is going to render you again and again with the data what we got from this API. Okay, so for any doubts, like we have just seen what is an API, but we have not gone to depth. We have just seen this is how a API look like. Any doubts? You guys are clear with this? Okay, fine. So if you see the search now, your HTTP, if you see, like we have, I will go again to my Google. So now my URL is having nothing. Basically my URL is having nothing. I'm just giving cars over here. I'm putting enter. So it is a get API. So I have told you this is a get API. Search is going to happen. So if you see this URL, you are getting something, right? Slash search. So the slash search is called as, it can be called as even either resources or endpoint. Okay, this is the endpoint, like where your resources or your data is available. So you can see something called slash search, and after this question mark, you can able to see few parameters are available. So right now we can see only this one is meaningful for us. So q equal to car. So you can efficiently see whatever I'm typing over here. So if I wrote something really bad, I can see it over here in this queue. Okay. So whatever I type over here is what I'm getting in there. So this is like one of the I can say property of an get API. So it will directly append everything into your URL and it will hit to the server. So every Google search which you did will be available with your provider, network provider, and you can easily get back from them. So what are the Google search you did, even in the incognito mode, you can easily get back the list from them. So what are the Google search you did? So what are the Google search you did today? You can easily get back from them. So like this kind of get APIs are not highly secured. So everything which you are given, which will be available in your URL itself. So this is not a secured approach, but you can get it like if you are not having any highly secure data, you can